You went live.
She did.
I
Yo, we
did.
can't wait.
I didn't do it.
Who did
It
it?
says meeting live on Facebook.
Well, hello everyone. Welcome to
What's
Strong
up,
Woman.
Enough Woman? As you probably know, we're your hosts and also the founders of Enough Woman. Thank you so much for tuning in. In case you haven't met us, I'm Kay and
I'm Omni Divinity. Woo!
We have two guests here today. Do you guys want to introduce yourselves?
Hi, I'm Sade.
You want to tell us a little bit about yourself?
What is there to say? I don't know.
Okay, you want to just jump into a question then? Okay. All right, so you guys watched the video. What did you guys think of like how they were defining like strong and independent women? Like, did you agree or did you disagree?
I agree for the most part. I agree that some of it, not all of it.
Like what? Okay, so they said that there was good things about strong women and bad things about women. Like, did you guys agree that there's some good things and some bad things?
No.
You said no?
Yes, I said no.
I could barely hear you, Nico.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah,
Yes.
just, I guess speak up.
Okay, yeah. So no, I do not agree. Some good things and some bad things.
So what do you think? It leans more towards like good or bad or in the middle?
Downsides of being strong.
You said what?
Well, what are the bad sides? Well, like what's bad about being a strong woman? That's the part that I don't really understand.
I forget what they said. Kia, do you remember like exactly what they said?
Yes, one of the things one of the guests had mentioned was that sometimes it comes off in a way where I believe the word he used was a verbal penis, to be exact. And sometimes women, in a way, they want to be king with the king, or that they don't allow the space for men to be men in their lives.
Oh my God. Okay, maybe I changed my mind. Shit. It's only because I'm in a relationship and we're having that same issue that he thinks that I don't let him be the man. So maybe that's true. Oh my God.
Like, what are some things like that you do though, like that make him feel this way?
It's little things. Like he'll say we should put the pillow over here, and I'm like, no, we're not. We're not doing that. Like we do what I do, how I want to do it, when I want to do it. And he's like, what the hell am I here for if you don't ever consider my opinion? You just want to do everything Nico says is the right way. I never thought about it like that before. And I'm just like, everything you say is dumb. I don't take it.
What about you?
Sorry, technical difficulty.
Yeah,
No
I had
problem.
trouble hearing you.
I said, do you have any power struggles in your relationship where like your husband has the same kind of complaints?
Okay, so no. It started off a little bit like that, I would say, but it ended pretty quickly. He's like a very dominant male, alpha male, I would describe it. And by nature, I realized like I'm not, like I could play dominant, but naturally I am not dominant. So when I met him, I kind of, and it sounds weird out loud, but I just kind of fell into line. I fell into him. And so naturally, like we fit together. And I think it becomes a power struggle when you hold down your inner femininity, when you're holding it down because you don't want to like let it out. So I think because, and it's a lot of what the men have shared, it's a vulnerability issue. And a lot of women have trouble with being vulnerable and like letting someone else take the lead in some aspects.
Definitely. But what would you like? Okay, so since you're more so on the side of being vulnerable, do you see any strengths in like being a strong woman? Because like we want to like kind of like change the definition of a strong woman. We don't want women to feel like they can't be, I guess, strong in certain areas of their lives, but we also like want to, let them loosen up and be a little bit willing to be a woman with their man, or
Yeah.
at least being more feminine.
Well, it's kind of an odd dynamic because before when I was single compared to now, like I feel way stronger. Although I'm not the dominant one in my relationship, like I feel like I consider myself a strong woman. Just because you're a strong woman doesn't mean that you don't let your man be a man. By letting like my man be a man, or not even letting him, just enjoying my space while he's being a man, it makes me feel kind of empowered because it's like when you think about it, if you be a woman to a man, like that is like the key to his heart, the key to everything. So he'll die for you. He'll work like a dog for you. So in a way, it makes me feel very empowered, knowing that I have someone here that will go to bat for me any day. It's like I have my like own little warrior in a sense. So in a way, it's like I have all the power. By letting go, I have all the power.
Yeah, I definitely like the way you said that. What about you, Nico? What were like some of the strong attributes? Because I feel like you came into this saying that being a strong woman is good, right? Like there's some good attributes to that. Like what would you say are the good attributes? Because there are some good attributes.
Can you just add me on my phone because my laptop is glitching and it's driving me up a wall.
Okay. All right. You want me to send your phone the link?
Yeah, because I'm waiting for you to just.
Oh, there you go.
Okay. Yeah, much better. Much better. What was your question? I'm sorry, dear.
Okay, so Sade was explaining like how being vulnerable is what made her feel most strong in her relationship. You also mentioned being some good qualities to being strong. Like, what would you say are some positives? I know, like you mentioned some of the negatives, but what are some of the positives to being like a strong woman? I don't know. I mean, in this sense, do you feel like you're a strong, independent woman?
Yeah. And I feel like with that comes the fact that you can't run over me and you can't talk to me any kind of way and you can't treat me any kind of way because I'm not going to stand for certain kind of behaviors. Not saying that comes with being vulnerable. It's just, when you put off a kind of aura, people either respect it or they just know not to like, come near you if they can at least meet you to where you are.
Definitely wanted to touch on that. Kind of like goes into our next question. Is part of being strong some type of defense mechanism that we're putting up to protect ourselves because we don't feel safe with our men?
I can't. I'm gonna say no. It's definitely has nothing to do with the defense mechanism at all. Like I wouldn't be with somebody that I feel like I can't be vulnerable with. It's just that I'm more so 50-50. Like I'll be vulnerable with you and we're alone, but as far as like when I'm out and about and I'm by myself, all that vulnerability stuff, that's got to go out the window.
What do you mean by that?
Like, because I can't be vulnerable. I can't. I don't want to be vulnerable.
Like with other people?
Yeah.
Okay. I definitely see what you mean with that. But more so like in relationship though. Like, I'm sorry, I definitely don't even remember the last question. The defense mechanism, like the fact that you had to like you know, let people know that they can't walk all over you. Like, you don't feel like that a little bit has to do with you being a little guarded?
No. I mean, me personally, no, I don't think it has anything to do, because you know me firsthand. So I don't think that really has to do with anything about being guarded, really. I don't know. I just feel like when people feel like they can say or do anything, they'll take advantage. Like, they'll take advantage. That's just how I personally feel, because I've seen it happen before.
Right. So that's what I would say is the defense mechanism. Like, why do you feel like you need to have that, you know, not walk all over me attitude with your man, which is somebody who's supposed to make you feel safe, you know? Because like that in a way isn't being vulnerable by, you know, always having to feel like you need to be able to put somebody in their place so that they don't walk over you. That is a defense mechanism. So why do you think that that is important to you? Like,
Because I don't like the feeling of people walking over. Like, I don't like the feeling of people feeling like they can say what they want to me, do what I hate that feeling.
have
That
you
feeling
experienced that in your relationship?
no. No.
So that's what I mean by like, okay, so then why do we need to have that, like, you can't
Because
walk
I don't know,
all
I
over
can't turn it off.
attitude?
I can't really turn it on and off. Like, it's kind of difficult to turn it off and on. Like,
Definitely.
it's really hard actually to turn it off and on. So I'm
So
working on it
you
though.
struggle with turning it off with like your spouse?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I'm working on it though. I'm definitely working on it.
When do those moments happen exactly though? Like what, like if you could like say a situation that kind of like makes you go into that mode, like what is it? Is it like him being like having unhealthy behaviors that are making you feel that way, or is it just you just doing that just because?
It sounds so bad, but it's like I'm doing it just because. It sounds so bad when you say it like that, but I'm doing it just because. Like,
I mean,
he's
that's
not
good.
toxic, he's not unhealthy. If anything, I'm the unhealthy one, because he'll say like, "Can you pass this something?" And I'm like, "You didn't say please, so no." And it's just something so dumb that I could have just gave it to him, but I'm like, "But you didn't say please, so I'm not about to just pass you shit. Like, what do you think this is?" Yeah, it's, but like I'm working on it.
Okay, as long as we're working on
We
it.
do have a question in the comments from a guy. He says, I'm not sure exactly which comment he was referring to, but his comment says, but allowing to be strong isn't contingent on your feelings per se, more or less allowing yourself to open up, and that state of vulnerability would allow you to be stronger.
I agree.
What do you think about that, Sade? Did you hear it?
I did. I just not quite sure what he means.
You want to explain like what? Can you like restate it, like to explain it in simpler terms?
I'm getting there. Just deal with me for a second.
Okay. Actually, I'm about to go to it.
Excuse the background real quick. I do apologize. He's asking if he can just chime in briefly, if you ladies don't mind.
You guys mind if a guy chimes in on the conversation?
Absolutely. No, I'm kidding. I don't.
I don't know.
Give me a second. Let me just, pardon the little technical. Let me just send him the information so he can join us. Sorry about the delay. I mean, this is pretty good. This is pretty interesting. Let's see, 8-4.
But I think honestly, like when I reread the question, I think that like Sade, you would agree with the statement that, you know, it doesn't necessarily have to do with your feelings, more or less. It's more so allowing yourself up and to be in that state of vulnerability, like being in that state of vulnerability is what makes you feel stronger, right or wrong?
Yeah, I'd have to agree. It's a mixture of all those things. Like,
yeah, I think I agree too.
Yeah.
Like what you were gonna say, like the mixture of the feelings part. Like I feel
The
like
mixture
I'm
of
not-
the feelings part, just the productivity of the relationship once you've established just where you fit into the relationship. But definitely the mental part of it, of just like really allowing yourself to be one with another person. There's a lot of strength in that.
No, I definitely agree. I don't know if I should like pause on the question and wait for him to come in, or just go to the next question.
No, go ahead for the next question. I'm just waiting for him to log in if he does log in, but keep going. It's fine.
Okay. Okay, so do you guys think that I mean, I know Sade, you're married, and Nico, you're kind of like in a relationship, but do you guys feel like you guys are allowing space? Like when you're being strong or when you're being like independent, like I got it, I can do everything by myself. Do you think like, and you don't even have to speak for yourself, when women do this, do you feel like they're leaving room for men to even like be in their lives? Like, do you feel as though they're almost like cutting off the space completely, where it's like a man is like basically not needed, and they're basically saying that?
I'd have to say yes. If you're all like, I mean, technically, yeah, I can do this stuff by myself, but I don't want to. And it's like, if you're at a point in your life where you don't want to do these things, if you don't want to do life by yourself, then you have to let somebody in, and you have to let them be that role, whatever, you decide is best. But for me, I know I don't want to spend this life alone. I know, I wanted to have kids. I wanted to have a partner. I wanted to have a husband. I wanted a man. So for the women that are in that point of their life where they want to share their life with someone, then you really have to share your life with that person. You really have to like make that step mentally and physically.
I was gonna let Nico chime in if she had something to say. If not, we'll move on.
Oh no, move on.
Okay.
I have him here in the waiting room. He's ready to join in. But if you want to ask another question, go ahead, and I'll let him in after.
Yeah, you can let him in.
Hello. All right. Everything's good. Connecting to audio.
Hello?
Javi, are you driving?
I'm not driving, but
okay, because we don't want to promote that kind of activity.
Of course not.
We want our men to be safe. All right, so you had a question. What's your question? First of all, introduce yourself so these lovely ladies know who you are. And then
Hello, good evening. Ladies, my name's Javi, or Xavier, either one is fine. I believe Nikki was saying something pertaining to the fact of her strength, but I couldn't catch it all because like there was a lag and then I was trying to sign in. I just wanted her to touch back on it because I actually did have some words to say rather.
Who is Nikki?
As Nico, I apologize. Don't beat up the messenger. I'm sorry. Hold on, let me go back.
I honestly thought you spelled your name wrong on purpose or something. I'm like, did she really spell it like that?
I'm just saying, like, who is that? I forgot what I said. As far as strength, what was I saying? I forgot.
I think your view was you don't
Because I
necessarily
said
think it's a bad thing.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Right.
I'll grab it right now. I'll let you know.
Oh, he took notes. Amazing.
So,
Please be mindful, Xavier. Thank you.
I'm trying to. Oh man, it was right before she had switched over from her laptop to her phone.
About the
It
switching
was
on
right.
and off.
I don't. Yes. No. It was right before she switched over from her phone, her laptop, because her laptop was glitching, and I think she said something stated to the effect of like she's using her strength, but sometimes it's like the comment that I wrote on it was, but
How would
allowing to be as strong as a contention based on your feelings, more or less, is allowing to yourself to open up. So even though your strength is something that's a part of you, I feel like it shouldn't necessarily define you, because then in turn you making it harder for that man to really step into your life, to really be there for you. That's all I'm basically trying to say.
You said I'm making it harder for that
You would
person.
make it harder for a male, yes. I mean,
Oh, okay. So I'm supposed to make it
I didn't
easy.
say make it easy. What I'm saying is, right.
Okay. No, I'm
No.
asking.
Okay. Peep game, right? So when you first start talking to someone, right, you get a chance to fill them out. You see what they're about, right? But you're gonna always have this guard up, because that's your natural defense. Now we're not speaking about the emotional factor
Mm-hmm.
that what you've been through into the past and stuff like that. I'm mainly more or less talking about your your personification of you being a woman, be a strong, independent woman. And sometimes, right now, when a guy would try to do what he can for you, and you like no this or no that, he makes himself feel less valued as a man. Like, damn, what could I do for her to make, what I'm saying, to fit into her life? If that makes any sense.
Mm. Oh no, that makes sense. But there's also like I feel like there's two sides to that. Like, oh, what can I do for her? Or maybe like try something else. Like try harder. Like it's just not. I don't feel the need to be what's the word I'm looking for? Not make it easy, but I don't feel like just because you're trying means that now I'm just supposed to be like, okay, go ahead, like you could do. No, that doesn't as that's not gonna move me so easy.
I mean,
That's just
as
me
it shouldn't.
personally.
But let's see. I wish I had a scenario to actually go off of. Shit. Um, you're a hardworking woman. You take care of yourself. You was doing it before this man even came into your life, right or wrong, right? So when he's coming into your life, he's trying to find the identity of the between the peril of your relationship, right? As Sade was saying earlier, she was happy that she feels good that she's allowing her man to be a man. That not even necessarily allowing him, but just be him to be himself, because she's right. When a man has that woman and she's allowing him to be him, he was gonna try to go to the moon and back and keep going even harder. Now if you say nope, I got it, or I got it, it doesn't have to be on a financial situation. It could be even an emotional state. If you're already putting that guard up, you blocking it like Matumbo, he's like, damn, how can I shoot my shot or even try to show her? He is trying, he is giving effort, but it's getting turned down each way, and that becomes discouraged, and that becomes like, why am I even trying to see it? You know what I mean? So that's along the lines what I'm actually
Yeah.
basically trying to say, if that makes any sense.
No, that makes sense. I just feel like I know when I feel like, okay, I'm right. I can let my guard down after a while. I know when I feel like I can do that, but I just have to be ready to do that. Just because you're trying doesn't mean that I have to automatically let my guard down and be like, okay, you can help. I just feel like that's something that me within myself, I would have to be like ready to
And
do, to let you in and do
and
stuff
I
for
believe
me.
that comes with consistency, right? Because when a man is
Yeah.
consistent, he's like, okay, wow. Maybe in your head, it's like, wow, he's the real deal. He's actually doing it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, if you're consistent, then I'm gonna assume, that you obviously want to be here in some capacity. So little by little, the I'll start to become more vulnerable or let my guard down with you little by little. If you continue to be like consistent and you're constantly trying to be there, if it's like one of those things where it's just here and there, then no, we're gonna constantly have that struggle between you and me. If it's just once in a while or every once in a while you make an effort, then you get a little pushback, so then you're gone and then you come back, that's too much for me.
Right. Now, my question to you as a woman, right? When that man comes into your life, and I use this word very loosely because some people get offended by it, but can you see yourself becoming submissive to your man?
Before
Some
you
people
answer
get
that question, I let me interject here because you guys are really hitting like a lot of strong points, and I don't want us to just skip over too quickly. My first question is to all the women here: are you afraid of being vulnerable? First, that's my first question.
Me personally, how right now, no. Have I in the past? Yes.
Can you elaborate like when you were afraid to be vulnerable, especially when it comes to your relationship?
Just just out there, being single. It's like it's a struggle out there when you're like dating or you're trying to find the right guy, or even when you're not dating and you're just, you're trying to have fun. You're still like guarded. You're still not trying to be vulnerable because you're not with it. You're not ready. But there came a point in my life, and then it depends too on who you meet. Because when I met my husband, it was the right time, but he was also the right person. It's like when you meet that right person, it's like you're automatically going to want to be vulnerable. You're going to want to put your guard down. You're going to want to do all that because naturally that's who we are. We are naturally women. Like we're gonna want to be a woman to a man, I don't know how else to put it, but that's just instinctively and naturally how it goes.
So,
Do you
wanna?
feel like, Nico, I'm gonna give this question to you. Do you feel like, because I know you touched on consistency, well, kind of Javi brought it up and then you kind of tagged in on it, but do you feel like your last relationship, the problem you had with it was consistency? Did you feel like that pretty much was the problem that made it so that you couldn't, maybe 100% be vulnerable and let him take the lead?
My last one?
Yeah, your last one. I mean, I of course knows your last one.
Oh, because right, yeah. So that's what I'm saying. My last one, he took the lead 100%. I had no say so. Like he was way more dominant than I was. So no, I didn't have much. Yeah, I didn't really have much say so in that relationship. So
would you say so I mean, I don't know if this is too personal, but I mean, who would you say was the one to end it? Like, who was the one that was inconsistent in the end?
inconsistent?
Inconsistent.
Oh, that's tough. I would have to literally sit and like think about that because that's just so many like pros and this and I have no idea. Inconsistent. Neither of them were inconsistent. Neither of them are inconsistent.
Okay,
Can
so
I
then
just
what?
But
because she had said that her past relationship, the man was like very dominant and she had no say. And I just want to make sure that we don't confuse because like my husband is dominant, but I have all the say. So I think what she's describing is like an unhealthy masculine trait. Like that's unhealthy. Being a male dominant does that mean that your woman has no say? Actually, that like shows like low self-esteem or something, like insecurity. Because a dominant man that loves his woman, like the woman has all the power. Like right now I got all of it. And I don't want us to confuse that because being a dominant male is not unhealthy. Being a dominant male does not mean you control your woman. It doesn't mean your woman doesn't have any say. So I just wanted to differentiate the two. She was definitely in an unhealthy, dominant male relationship.
you got it. That's why I'm out of that motherfucker. It was unhealthy.
Yeah.
See, I didn't
Very
know
unhealthy.
that though. You be leaving out key details.
Well, I thought it was obvious when you like being around his personality. I thought it was very obvious that he didn't say much. He didn't have much to say. Like you guys would call him a security guard because he would just be there and not speak, and he would be like very stoic and very just rigid, right? And then there would be things that I'd like or want to do that we couldn't do, or he wouldn't bend. Like there wouldn't be any compromisation with our relationship. It would be like, if I want to do it and he doesn't, that's it, conversation is over. So there wasn't
Okay,
really
wait.
much
We're talking about the Capricorn.
yeah.
What?
I know we're talking about another sign. I'm sorry.
No, baby. Us Libras are amazing. Okay. Us Libras are
Pisces
amazing.
over here. I'm
Let's just,
sorry. But,
yeah, I don't date water signs, but
may I say something? It seems to me with your previous relationship, you lost your identity. And right now you're in your phase where you're trying to get yourself back to zero, get yourself back to who you are. But at the same time, it also seems like you put up a exterior shell, like you're almost callous to a fact. Like, yes, we want our standards to be high and we all want what we want. But if it also feels like by you having that level is making it hard for someone to come in and try to love you the right way at the same time. And be the man that you would want him to be, that he could be for you. And just like last week's segment, Zakiya mentioned, and everything else. Sorry, didn't mean to do that. A healthy man is very important when you get into a relationship. So there's some things to consider.
I'm glad he brought up that point, because that was one of the questions I'm trying to interject. You guys are giving us like really great feedback. Prior to you, like you said, submitting to your husband, or you navigating through your submission with your current partner, when you were dating or meeting people, I wanted to know, did you always feel like you couldn't depend on that person to be your protector and your provider? And did you naturally, because of your strength and your independence, did you naturally just fall into that role? Because one of the comments, I'm not sure if it was Xavier or the other guest, mentioned that sometimes they feel like the strong, independent woman, because she's so used to that, she's subconsciously competing with her partner.
Do you want to go, Nico?
No, I'm still trying to think of what I wanted to say.
I didn't even hear the question. You guys mind repeating the question just for me?
You know what? No, I'm just kidding. No, my question was, prior to them engaging in these relationships, like when they were single and dating, because of their independence and their strengths. Last week, one of the guys had mentioned that sometimes they don't allow the space for the men to be protector and provider. And subconsciously, it feels like a competition. And I just wanted to know, have they ever found themselves in that situation, or maybe going forward, they kind of had an epiphany about a past situation? I just wanted to know their thoughts on
that. Well, for me, like my past relationship, that was like a long-term one. He was definitely an unhealthy male. And I had some unhealthiness about me too, mentally. But he definitely wasn't a protector or provider. And so I did have to, stand, I don't want to say stand on my own two feet, but there was definitely something lacking in the relationship. And it was, no protector, no provider. So you're going to have terrible bumps in the road, because naturally in a relationship, you need someone that's going to protect and provide. So yeah, that relationship definitely was unhealthy. And then, dating and all of that, I'm used to being, my own provider, my own protector, I'm this independent woman. And, I didn't really let my guard down until like I found someone that was right, that was fit for me. And I pretty much knew right away. So right away, my guard was down, and it was fine because, you know, you can let your guard down right away. Like, we always think we have to give like this trial period, like, you know, oh, I'm a be like this hard bitch. I'm gonna be independent for like, and I'm a like see how far he'll chase me, see how far he'll be consistent, see how he duck and dive and all that stuff. But really, I mean, you may weed the, you know, the bad ones out, but you may also weed like a good one out, because maybe he ain't just trying to go through all that, you know. So I don't think it's unhealthy to let your guard down in the beginning, and the first time they fuck up, then you just leave. You know what I mean? Like, there's no, we don't have to like be hard rocks here. Like, we can be a woman like out front. And if they're a man, they're gonna step up right away. And if they're a man that wants you, like, you're gonna know it. So yeah, I think all the games and all that, that's where things get tricky and like prolonged and stressful for no reason.
Right. And I think that period of time that you're talking about, that's like dating, you know? You don't have to like get in a relationship with somebody that you don't know. You should, you know, date and be honest. I mean, I feel like a
Right.
lot of problem stems from, you know, just being dishonest and not being upfront. Like, it's okay to date more than one person. I mean, I don't see anything wrong with that. You just don't have to get serious with everyone. You know, you
Right.
find out if you could be vulnerable with that person, and if you're not, then on to the next.
Exactly.
Nico, did you have anything you wanted to add to that question? I mean,
Me?
the
Oh,
question.
no.
No, not this one, isn't it? You were supposed to be thinking of something to say.
Girl, I ain't got nothing to say on that one.
Sade pretty much covered it.
Well, let me ask this last question. Do you see women being vulnerable equating to being weak?
No.
Well,
I
I
don't.
figured you say that. But I mean,
No,
overall,
I
like,
don't. No, I don't think being vulnerable makes you weak at all. In no way, shape, or form. It doesn't make you weak at all. Not even a little bit.
Yeah, I think we're all on the same page with like admitting that we can embrace our femininity. What are you guys ladies' thoughts on like the whole 50-50? Because there's a lot of women out there that are like in competition with their men to make sure they're providing at least 50% of the household, I guess, like bills and stuff like that. What do you guys think about that? Like, do you feel like that?
I don't. I not to cut you off, but I kind of hate having these type of conversations, only because, well, not conversations, but this specific topic, because you just do what works for your house. You do what you and your spouse, what works for you and your spouse. If you and your spouse or the person you live with say, look, babe, I'm gonna pay rent, you pay utilities, or babe, you take this and I'll do that. You do what works for you guys. Like, you do what works for your financial situation and what makes each of you comfortable. So, I mean, I don't care how it falls, as long as we're both comfortable with it financially, and neither of us, I don't feel lesser than and you don't feel lesser than. So that's my thing. If he comes to me and says he'll pay the rent and I just pay utilities, okay, fine. And then you'll have some people like, no, you shouldn't be paying anything. You should be paying rent and utilities, and you should just be cleaning and doing the laundry. And then you have some people that's like, well, no, he should pay the rent and you pay the utilities, or you do half. Like, who cares who does what? I feel like you got to do what works for your current situation.
I'm definitely going to want to do another forum on that one, because I would love to have men on that panel, and I would love for you ladies to also come back so we can, I know you said you don't like that topic, but I do find that
no, but if you want to pay my rent, I'm never gonna say no. I'm just saying, I'm not gonna make that I don't want to make that. I guess I want you to provide, but I don't want it to start getting to the point where it's like, you know, it's little finicky little stuff
I mean,
about
I don't
who
think
buys
it's really
what.
that.
And
Sorry to cut you off, but I don't think it's really that finicky. Like, it's not even possible for a woman to consistently pay 50-50 if we're really being honest in the conversation. Like, there's no way. I mean, unless we struggle to do it, right? Like, for instance, if I'm gonna have the baby, right? I'm gonna get pregnant. How the hell am I do 50-50 while I'm spending the first 2 years of that child?
Obviously, that would be a circumstance to where
So
you
it's not a
cannot
reality.
work.
That's not a reality then. So it's like you.
Yes, it is a reality, but if you are 9 months pregnant, right, and you obviously cannot work as you do, yes, your husband would then have to pick up the slack because you are unable to do as you were before. So what, you're just saying, you know what, let's just have you do everything so that when I get pregnant, you don't fall back. That doesn't make any sense to me. But like I
think
said,
it's just
you do what
physically,
works for
it's
you.
easier for a woman to stay home. Even like once a woman becomes a mother, the priorities to be a mother is not realistic on top of a 9-to-5. And if it is realistic, that woman is fairly tired, if we're being honest. Because how am I meal prepping lunch for 3 kids, a husband, and I'm taking care of myself, and I'm exercising and like building a business strategy so that we don't eventually have to work for someone else? How am I doing all that and going to work 9-to-5? And on top of that, staying on top of politics and everything else that's important. It's like we don't even have enough time. We don't have enough time to do anything that we need to do to make sure that we're up on our P's and our Q's. You know what I'm saying? Like, there has to be enough time in the day, and there just isn't. There's so many people out there that don't know what is happening in this world just because they don't have the time. Let's be honest.
So let me ask you a question. Whose fault is that?
The person who's allowing themselves to do that. That's whose fault.
Okay.
Let me just interject here because I've been on both sides. So I had a relationship where I pretty much was the provider, and my other half took care of mostly the house duties because I was in a better position, and it worked for us. Now I'm in a situation where I don't have to do that. I can't even tell you when the bill is due. I really don't know. And I have more children than I did before. But I'll be honest, like she said, it does depend on the situation and the relationship and how that what works for that couple. But I'm going to be honest, as much as that previous system had worked for us, I can't say every woman felt this way, but I was tired. I was exhausted. I mean, I wasn't getting enough rest. I wasn't going to the doctor. I wasn't taking care of anything about myself because all my energy was focused on being that role that he at the time couldn't fill. Did it, like I said, it worked for us. It was like a well-oiled engine, but when it really comes down to it, I wasn't looking out for me, and it really had a negative effect on not only my relationship, but my children. But I mean, there's other factors, obviously, but it wasn't good overall. I'm not saying that women belong in a house. I don't feel that way personally, but I will say in a sense where like myself, where there are children involved, it does have some bearing on it because for all the providing I was doing, I was neglecting my children. Like I'm so focused on providing that I can't mother my children properly. And they lost out on that, you know? But like I said, now I'm in a situation where now I'm on the other side, and it was hard allowing myself to be vulnerable and allowing my current partner to step up and be the man in my life. And now I'm looking at myself like, what were you thinking before? Because what you were doing before just wasn't it, you know? But I just wanted to add that on because I do see both sides of the fence.
No, I mean, it's not that I can't see both sides. I'm doing both sides. I'm doing 50-50. I'm struggling. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Like, there's not enough time. It really isn't. And if I'm being honest, I don't have kids. So if I did, like, for someone who's like, I am basically independent and strong at this very moment. I'm being independent and strong because I mean, I pay half of everything. So I'm paying my share of everything. And then on top of that, I'm cooking, I'm cleaning. And I mean, I know some people do, and like you said, everybody's situation is different. But from what I've seen and like my situation, and granted I can only speak for my own, no one else in this house cleans the way I do. Like no one cooks in this house the way I cook. You know what I mean? Breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Like that's not happening. Like I might get a little bit of help somewhere over here, like, you know, the heavy lifting and stuff like that, but that's not like daily. That's not washing the dishes. That's not cooking. That's not sweeping every last room in the house. Like as you get older, your house gets bigger. There's more areas to clean, and it's really overwhelming to have to do all of that and then also have to worry about, you know, being ready to go to work on Monday. You know what I mean? Like I just feel like if I had more time, the house could be even neater. I could get into another trade like interior decorating. Like I would interior decorate my house, take pictures, market my shit. Like I don't have time for that. And there's money in that. I just started the CMOS gels or whatever. I've been making money off of that. Like there's money in staying home. I mean, you don't have to stay home. Granted, you can rent a building and start a business in a building, whatever you feel is good, but like there is power in owning something. You cannot own something if you guys are both splitting 50-50 bills. It's just not a reality. You're never going to make something like out of anything that you're doing. You're just going to keep working for somebody else.
I feel you on that, girl. That's a whole
I
nother
want to
segment.
say this is such a heavy topic. I really do want to do another video for this one because there's so many different perspectives on this. I mean, there's women arguing like I gotta pay half the bills. There's men saying if she ain't paying nothing, what is she really doing? I really, really, really would love for you ladies and Xavier, if you feel up to it, that next week we can get back together and really dive into this, because I think this is going to be pivotal for a lot of people that may watch this, and it's very important. To me, it's very important, but I think a lot of people would like to hear this conversation.
Always with it. You already know that. I'm here. You know what I'm saying? And I can understand that it's a touchy subject. You know, and it's hard. You know, because that's why I say it's hard. We live in 2020 right now. You know, so you expect this person to do this, you expect that person to do that. But a lot of times when you set expectations and the person doesn't meet your expectations, that's when failure comes about. But that's why you have to cartel the expectations to a certain level where people can succeed. That's what it really comes down to. You know what I'm saying? It's like, as the old saying goes, one hand washes the other. You know? So if I'm out there making it, I'm working, doing this, that, and the third, you know, the house is clean. But at the same time, as a man, I can understand. It's a lot going on. I mean, just you ladies don't know, but I'm a father of 8 children, you know, married, the whole 9 yards. So I can really understand the trials and tribulations that my wife goes through throughout the day, keeping the house clean, keep going after the children, making sure she has the energy to do this and to do that. So I've never asked her to work. I took care of that, you know, up to the point where, listen, we need to have more expendable money so we can do things as a family. So get a little part-time job or something of that nature. But like I said, I can understand it from both channels. So it's not that difficult. But I'm ready for it next week, whenever. Just let me know the time.
Yes, we are definitely going to touch on that topic. And there was something that you ladies have brought up, and I think Xavier might have mentioned it at one point in this video, but I don't want to talk about it now, but definitely going about submitting. Somewhere I heard that word about submit. Yeah, I think Sade might have said, I don't know, but I definitely want us to talk about that because I do find
yes, I do recall. I mean, you don't want to talk about it. I mean, I can, like I said, it's that word, you know, from a male's point of view.
Listen, we're going to talk about it, but not this time, because I really want to give that topic as much time as we gave this one. I really want to get into it because, like I said, a lot of women, they hear submit, they hear vulnerable, they hear weak, and it's like automatic trigger words. And I really would love for you ladies to come back. Xavier, you as well. We're gonna have another guest to talk on it because that topic also needs to be spoken on. Because I think when we talk about as women how we're afraid to be vulnerable, sometimes some of us are, some of us a little difficult to, in submitting. Sometimes I think it stems from maybe past trauma. And I also want to get into further down the road about healing from these toxic situations because they're there. We know that. We probably all had one or two or a few. And so I do want us to talk on that. But I want to thank everyone for coming.
Okay, wait. Any final thoughts? Does anyone want to say something to wrap up? I know she wants to rush on out of here, but any final
I'm not
thoughts?
trying to rush y'all. I'm just saying, I just was thanking y'all.
Sade, do you have any final thoughts, or Nico? Something you want to leave us with?
What'd you say?
I said, do you have any final thoughts that you guys would like to leave us with?
Oh, I just want to say just to look forward to next weekend because submissiveness is a beautiful thing with the right person.
Mm-hmm.
Only thing I want to say.
Of course, Javi has more to say. Go ahead, Javi.
I just want to keep the motto going. You know, like keep doing what you're doing. The motto. I love what you guys are doing. Like I said, I really appreciate you guys always incorporating me. From a male's aspect. Ladies, keep it feminine to the next time. Whenever y'all need a voice, I'm always here. Always keep the motto.
All right. Well, thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you guys for joining us. We really
Thanks
do
for having
appreciate it.
us.
We're going to do more videos in the future. So look forward to hearing more from us. And if you'd like to join us again, let us know.
And remember,
Always keep it feminine.
Yes. Thank you.